Imagine being granted the opportunity to sit down with the wisest person who has ever lived in human history. The one who not only had everything, wealth, power, and fame, but who had also seen beyond the surface of life, understood its deepest mysteries, and grasped its most profound truths. Now picture this. As you sit across from him, he looks you in the eye and with a deep, knowing gaze shares the secrets of life. He speaks with authority and compassion, telling you how to avoid the mistakes that so many before you have made, mistakes that lead to regret, emptiness, and destruction. He offers you a map, guiding you on the path to fulfillment and wisdom. Would you listen to him? Or would you turn away, continuing to chase after the hollow pursuits that have left countless souls lost, broken, and confused? In our world today, filled with distractions, bad advice, and endless cycles of repetition, there is a message that resonates as urgently today as it did thousands of years ago. It's a warning, one from a king who once had it all and realized that without wisdom, all his possessions and power meant nothing. This is the story of King Solomon, a man who reigned in splendor but discovered the true cost of forsaking wisdom. Prepare yourself, because the words you are about to hear will shake you awake. Are you ready to hear them? In the world we live in today, society constantly feeds us the idea that wealth, success, and popularity are the ultimate keys to happiness and fulfillment. We're told that if we can just attain these things, more money, more fame, more recognition, then we'll finally feel complete. The message is everywhere. More is better. Yet Solomon, the man who ruled over unimaginable wealth, power, and influence, came to a radically different conclusion, a conclusion that challenges everything we think we know about true happiness. Despite possessing more than most could ever dream of, Solomon, in all his wisdom, boldly declared, "It's all meaningless." Imagine being so wealthy that you could buy anything your heart desired. You could have anything, luxuries, experiences, possessions, yet despite all that, you find that none of it truly satisfies the deepest longings of your heart. That's the shocking reality Solomon came to understand. He had it all: gold, silver, grand palaces, and all the pleasures life could offer, but none of it filled the emptiness inside him. After all the material wealth, the status, and the luxury, Solomon didn't boast, "I have it all." Instead, he proclaimed, "It's all meaningless." His warning rings through the ages, louder than ever. Chasing money, fame, or success will never fill the void within. As Solomon says in Ecclesiastes 5:10, "Whoever loves money never has enough." Have you ever noticed that? The more people accumulate, the more they desire. It's a cycle that can never be broken. No matter how much we gain, we will always crave more. This endless pursuit of wealth can become a never-ending trap until we realize that it's not money, but wisdom that brings true prosperity. Solomon's message is clear. If you want real success, seek wisdom, not wealth. Think about it. Society constantly tells us that happiness comes from reaching the pinnacle of success. We work tirelessly, sacrifice our health, neglect relationships, and put our dreams and desires on hold, all in the pursuit of a number, a goal, a position that we believe will give us peace and security. But Solomon, with his unparalleled wisdom, unveils this lie for what it truly is: a deceptive illusion. True success doesn't come from chasing after money, status, or fame. It comes from chasing wisdom. In Proverbs 3:13-14, Solomon proclaims, "Blessed are those who find wisdom, those who gain understanding, for she is more profitable than silver and yields better returns than gold." Wisdom is more precious than silver, more valuable than the finest gold. It's not merely about learning how to manage wealth. It's about understanding what truly matters in life and aligning yourself with those deeper truths. Wisdom is the foundation that guides every decision, every step we take toward a life of meaning and fulfillment. Now, consider this. A person wins the lottery, overwhelmed with wealth and luxury. Yet within just a few years, they are bankrupt, having squandered their fortune as they lack the wisdom to manage it. In contrast, someone who starts with nothing but a deep understanding of wisdom, who works diligently and builds a life from the ground up, can achieve lasting success. That's the difference between chasing money and chasing wisdom. Wisdom is not just about accumulating wealth, it's about learning how to manage it, how to create something sustainable, how to build a legacy that outlasts you. Wisdom allows us to understand the things that cannot be bought with money: peace of mind, confidence, a sense of purpose, and a life that honors God. But Solomon's wisdom didn't stop at matters of wealth. His wisdom extends to every area of life, including the people you surround yourself with. The company you keep has a profound impact on your future. The people you spend time with will either lead you toward wisdom or pull you into destruction. Solomon made this crystal clear. In Proverbs 13:20, he writes, "Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm." You may think that you can control your surroundings or that your relationships don't have much influence over your choices, but Solomon knew better. If you walk with fools, people who lead you into sin, negativity, selfishness, or destructive behaviors, then you are walking toward disaster. It's not a matter of if disaster will come, but when. The wrong influences will erode your character, drag you into poor decisions, and ultimately rob you of the future God desires for you. Take a moment to reflect on the relationships in your life. Who are the people you are spending your time with? Are they people who push you to grow in wisdom, to live in alignment with your values, and to deepen your faith? Or are they pulling you into gossip, negativity, laziness, and poor habits? Solomon's message is simple, but profound. Choose your companions wisely, and your life will reflect the wisdom of those you surround yourself with. You can't afford to ignore this truth. The wrong influences will set you on a destructive path. But Solomon's life wasn't just filled with wisdom regarding wealth, success, and relationships. It was also filled with profound lessons on the dangers of lust and immorality. Despite being a man of immense wisdom, Solomon's greatest downfall wasn't his lack of power or possessions, it was his pursuit of lust. The man who wrote powerful warnings about the destructive nature of sexual sin ultimately fell into the very trap he had warned others about. Lust, no matter how small it may seem, has a dangerous way of growing and taking root. It starts with a glance, a flirtation, or a small indulgence, and before long, it consumes you. Solomon had 700 wives and 300 concubines, and yet his heart was never truly satisfied. No matter how much he indulged his desires, it was never enough. In Proverbs 5:3-5, Solomon writes, "For the lips of an adulterous woman drip honey, and her speech is smoother than oil, but in the end she is as bitter as gall, sharp as a double-edged sword." He understood that lust, while alluring in the moment, ultimately leads to destruction. It's an empty promise, a fleeting pleasure that delivers only bitter consequences. Solomon's warning is clear. Lust, no matter how innocent it appears at first, grows and ensnares you. It promises satisfaction, but only leads to emptiness and regret. The consequences of giving in to lust can be devastating and far-reaching. In our world today, temptation is everywhere. It's just a click away. Instant gratification is easily accessible, but so are the consequences. Solomon's warnings about lust and immorality are as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago. In Matthew 5:28, Jesus expands on Solomon's wisdom, saying, "Anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart." Lust is not just a physical act, it begins in the heart. Solomon thought he could control his desires, but in the end, his desires controlled him. What about you? Are you caught in the trap of lust? Do you think it's harmless, a brief indulgence that won't have any lasting impact? Solomon's life stands as a powerful reminder. No one is immune. Even the wisest man in history fell victim to this temptation. So how can we escape? The answer lies in Psalm 119, verse 9. How can a young man keep his way pure? By living according to your word. The key to purity, Solomon tells us, is found in the truth of God's word. When we immerse ourselves in his word and walk closely with him, the power of temptation begins to lose its grip on us. Finally, Solomon's life was filled not only with wisdom, but with warnings about the power of words. He understood the incredible power of the tongue, how it could either build or destroy. In Proverbs 18:21, Solomon reminds us, "The tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit." The words we speak don't just affect others, they shape our own futures. Every word we speak is like a seed that we plant, and in time, we will reap what we've sown. Now, let's pause and reflect. You've heard the wisdom of Solomon. You've seen the warnings he left behind, but the real question is, will you listen? Will you allow his words to shape your life, or will you continue chasing after things that will never truly satisfy? Solomon's journey was one of seeking wisdom, falling into the traps of lust and immorality, and ultimately realizing that without God, everything is meaningless. The choice is yours. Will you focus on what truly matters, or will you continue chasing after the wind? Time is ticking. What will you choose?